We could have taken any tent that we wanted up into the Sierras. We chose to take this tent. And why do we choose to take it? We love its livable area. We love how light it is. This is a little over 2.5 pounds for a incredibly livable 2-person tent that you can take up into the high mountains. It's double walled, full dome tent, deals with condensation well. There's just a whole lot of stuff to like about this tent. Hi, Adventure Alan here, and we're super excited to bring you this video review of the new 2020 Big Agnes Copper Spur HV UL2 tent. This is the only Copper Spur tent this year to get these really exciting upgrades, and we've been in the High Sierra here for 6 days testing this out on exposed campsites like this in some pretty cold conditions, and we've sort of run it through its paces, and we'd like to share with you what we've learned about this tent, the things we really like about it, how livable it is, and a few things that we think could use some improvement that you should probably at least be aware of. But first, I want to stress that this is one of the most popular backpacking tents. It's super light, it's strong, it's storm-worthy, and it's with very good reason it's incredibly popular, and this just improves on it. And the first thing I want to talk about is right above my head here, new for 2020 only in the UL2 tent, is this awning. And what they've done is they've added a door zipper here. In addition to this door zipper here, you can lift the whole thing up and put it on, you can put some sticks in here. We've used our trekking poles, and you get this awning. This awning is very nice to shelter you from midday sun. It keeps the sun off of the tent, but still allows ventilation through the doors, keeps the tent a lot cooler during the day. But probably the best thing we like is most rain is not sideways blowing hard rain. Most rain, especially if you're camping in a sheltered area, is coming from overhead. So this gives you a sheltered area to have gear, to cook. In a light rain, this is where Allison and I would put our stove right here and cook. It also makes if you're getting in and out of the tent in light rain, you just have this sort of nice, it's kind of like a breezeway out of the tent to get in and out of the tent and not get water into the tent. So I'm going to get up and walk around the tent and show you a couple other things that we really like about it. Another improvement for 2020 is the same very light fabric, one of the things that makes this a very light tent, but for 2020 this fabric is even stronger. The exact specs are escaping me at the moment, but I'll throw them up in a caption on this video. But what was pretty storm-worthy and strong tent got even stronger for 2020. Okay, well, the stakes that come with the tent are perfectly adequate. They're the aluminum V stakes. We think you can do a lot better, and I think it's a really good upgrade. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any of them with me today, but I'll show you the stakes that we like to use. For the 4 corners of the tent, we like to use these aluminum nail stakes. They're a lot stronger. You can pound them in with a rock into hard soil. But the thing we like best about them is most of the time you can just palm them into the ground like that, which is way easier than if you do it with a sharp edge of aluminum stake, you'll punch a hole in your hand. And then to stake out the fly or the awnings or anything besides the 4 quarters of the tent, we like these MSR carbon stakes. They're super small and light, and again, super easy to palm into the ground. We're bringing 4 of each. Okay, one of the minor improvements for 2020 is this sort of 3-function connector doohickey on the tent, but it both captures the pole, and as this part captures the fly. You notice this is all color-coded. The red pole goes into the orange connector. The orange clip on the fly goes to this connector here. And the third thing it does is stake out the tent. And what I've done here is, we always think you should stake out the tent We camp in high alpine areas where the wind blows and you really need to stake the tent down. But one of the things you'll find out is that the normal tent has no adjustment range. So if there's like a rock right here and you can't get that stake in, you're kind of screwed. You can't stake the tent out. So what I've done is just put a little cheater cord on this, not hard, and I've just done a little trucker's hitch here. And if I couldn't put the stake there, I can just move it out with here, and this little trucker's hitch and tensions it. It's sort of a nice little addition to the tent. So one of the nice things also about this dual zipper door that can make an awning is you can really get this door out of the way. You know, it's normally when you roll a tent back, it sort of comes at an angle and it's kind of hard to tie back here, and it doesn't give you full access. So if it isn't raining and you just sort of want full access to this door all the time, you've got these two tie backs here, and you could just roll this whole door up like a window shade and keep this whole door area free. Makes it easier to get in and out of the tent. Another nice thing the Big Agnes has done to make this tent more storm-worthy is there's a lot of tie-out points, and they actually give you some very nice guy line with line lock adjusters on it to adjust the tension. We've attached 2 of them to the loops on this awning to make the awning, leaving us with 2 more in the bag here. But they've already attached on sort of like the major guy out points, and if you're high in the Sierras here and it's really blowing 30 or 40 miles an hour, you really need to tie this tent down. They've got a tie out point at each of the major poles on the tent here to provide some additional stabilization to the tent in high winds. Well, this new tent fabric is certainly stronger. It's a pretty thin fabric. It's not something that you really want to be putting against sharp ground or anything. We'd probably be fine on the grass here, but on most ground we would suggest use a footprint. Big Agnes sells a footprint, but what we like, which is lighter and less expensive, is a polycro ground cloth. It is not like a painter's cloth that you buy at Home Depot. This is a cross-linked polymer. It's super tough and super strong. This weighs like 3 or 4 ounces, costs like about 10 or 12 bucks, and it lasts for quite a long time. So we suggest that you get either the Big Agnes footprint or something like this, unless you plan on just camping on grass. Okay, so that's enough about the exterior of the tent. And the thing that we really like about this tent and what's made the Copper Spur so popular is how livable it is inside the tent. So let me welcome you into our lovely interior residence in the outdoors, and we'll walk through some of the things that we really like about it. Okay, so we've taken the rainfly off the tent so you can see the inside. And now we're going to talk about one of the big things that the 2020 tent adds, which is it adds a ton of pockets to the tent. And the lovely thing about pockets is they give you tons more livable space, because you get everything up off the floor of the tent, so you can use the maximum amount of floor tent for you and sleeping, which is what it's there for. And the other thing is that there are so many pockets in here, you can probably get most of the stuff out of your pack and into the tent and not have to go into your pack for the rest of the night if you get stuff arranged. And we'll show you how these big new pockets work and a couple representative things of what we have in the pockets. Okay, we're now looking at the head of the tent, and this big pocket is right above your head, and obviously this pocket's ideal for your phone. It has a little headphone routing, so you can keep your phone off of your bag and just have your headphones come down to your head. We each have our headlamps here. I've got my satellite messenger. Sometimes I send out messages at night. This is an ideal location for satellite reception. Sunglasses, you can think of it, but it's super easy. It's right above your head. You can reach up to it. We love the pocket. Okay, now we're looking at the foot of the tent, and this is where the Mongo storage is. I forget, Big Agnes has some terminology for it. I don't know, it's a gear loft or something, but you can see this pocket is actually 3-dimensional. It actually comes away from the tent. There's a huge amount of room here. We've barely even scratched the surface by putting the stuff we have in here. I mean, you could put your whole change of clothes in here if you needed to put in this tent. Again, it gives you a lot of storage area. It gets stuff off the floor. It's pretty easy to access up here. So we love this sort of bucket pocket at the foot end of the tent, and that's a 2020 edition too, and it's one that we just love. It increases livable space in the tent. Each person has their own little individual pocket here. We've chose to put our water bottles in it, but I sometimes put my USB recharging battery for my phone, but again, it's nice storage there. Up to you where you want to put it. One nice little creature comfort is it's always annoying to like kind of roll up the tent door and do the little toggle closure. And Big Agnes has this doorkeeper here, and all you do is just pull it through there. So if you want to get up and pee in the night or quickly get this door out of the way, it's great. Then you can just pull on this thing, pull it back out, zip the door shut. It's awesome. Okay, sort of in keeping with the livable space, if you look inside the tent here, with all these pockets, we've gotten everything off the floor of the tent. We just have our ground pads here, which have plenty of room. These are two Thermarest Neo Air pads, and you can see that there's plenty of room in the tent for them. And we basically just have it down to our little ditty bags, the small things that we might need at night in the tent. But this is just such a nice, clean, easy way to get all the clutter out of the tent and make it total livable area. But another thing that we like about this tent is that we like to use the tent in this mode without the fly on it. Unless it's raining or really threatening rain, we just sleep out with the mesh inner tent. We like to watch the stars. We like the ventilation. We like the open feeling of it. But one of the things that Big Agnes has done, which we like about this tent, is that you'll notice as I zip this door shut that this fabric wall comes up very high on the tent. And what's nice about that, if you're sleeping in the tent with just the fly open, it's actually a nice windbreak, because your sleeping bags are well below the wall of this tent, so even if the wind is coming, you get a nice sort of sheltered area to sleep, but you avoid all the mugginess and condensation of sleeping in the tent with a fly. Okay, besides the 2020 improvements, we're going to just talk about a lot of things that Big Agnes has done with this Copper Spur HV-UL2 tent to make it more livable. One of the things they've done here is they put this crossbar in the tent. It's been here for a while, but it spreads the top of the tent. It makes these walls more vertical, using whatever interior room and extending it all the way up to the ceiling, making the tent volume much larger. In the same way, you can see these tent poles are pre-curved, and that curve makes this rear wall more livable. So rather than being a dome, this becomes more of a rectangular cube shape with vertical walls on all sides, which makes it seem much roomier and easier to live in. Other things that we really like, obviously, this very easy to use hub pole design. It makes it really easy actually for one person to set this tent up with the hub pole like this. Things aren't just falling all over the place. Obviously everything is super color coded. The head end of the tent is silver on the ends of the poles. It goes to the gray 3-function fasteners there. And then there's just these small things that we like about this tent, attention to detail, like these really nice, easily tactile zipper pulls here, nice tiebacks for the doors all over the place. And if I forgot to show you on the Rainfly, the Rainfly has double zipper, 2-way zippers, so you can zip it up from the bottom or the top and adjust it in multiple ways. But this is just, you can tell this is a refined tent design that's been improved over years and years, and it's really no mystery why this is one of the most popular ultralight backpacking tents of all time. Okay, we tried to give fair reviews, and no piece of gear is perfect. So we have sort of a list of minor nits and picks with this tent. I'm going to read them off to you. One of them you saw, there's no adjustment to stake out the loop or get more reach. You either stake it out where it is or it doesn't. We showed you a little hack to extend it. The door tiebacks here are just a little tight. You have to roll the door up super tight in order to get it. We'd like to see a little more slack in those loops. Obviously It's a light tent with a 15 deer net fabric. You need to use the polygo ground cloth. We actually like that. It saves weight on the tent, but people that abuse their gear should be well aware that you are going to probably need to put a footprint on this underneath this tent in most situations. One little quibble, we can't quite get both sides of the vestibule tight when we stake it out. It's a single stake in the middle, and however we move that stake, we can't get them taut. It's okay, but you know, there's maybe a refinement on the fabric cut they could do there. And then finally, this is not the world's largest tent. We told you how big they make it livable, and for the weight of the tent, this has a phenomenal amount of living area. But for two very large people, or people that carry a ton of gear — we don't carry a ton of gear, but people that carry a ton of gear might find this a little snug if they were stuck in a day or two in the rain in this tent. Again, we're fine. We have our gear under control, but for large people with a ton of gear, they might find it a little snug. They might want to go with a slightly larger tent. And the last thing is, obviously, this comes with perfectly adequate stakes. They're very light. They help the tent make weight. But again, we would strongly encourage you, as we showed earlier in the video, to get a little more robust stakes that are easier to handle and get into some tougher ground. Okay, in summary, I think you see why we think that the Big Agnes Copper Spur HV UL2, which has always been one of the top ultralight backpacking tents, has gotten even better for 2020. It's an even better tent. We love this awning. We love the increased pocket space. We love the stronger fabric. We like these little nifty 3-function connectors. They all make what's an incredibly great tent even better. But just to take a step back, I mean, one of the things that makes the Big Agnes Copper Spur UL2 a great tent is, one, how livable it is inside. All the refinements Big Agnes has done to allow you to store your gear and get super comfortable inside. We love how storm-worthy it is. And understand that this is a tent that's just a little over 2.5 pounds for 2 people. That's an amazing achievement. It's a fully domed tent, fully double-walled. They didn't skimp on features, and it's still well under 3 pounds. And we could have taken any tent we wanted into the High Sierra for this trip, and we chose to take this tent, and we've been super happy with it. So, to close out this video, if you really like this video, please go ahead and like it on my YouTube channel. Please go ahead and follow Adventure Alan on the YouTube channel. Click that bell so you get notified of our new content. We're putting out great videos all the time. And again, hoping that you found this video review of the Big Agnes Copper Spur HV UL2 2020 useful. This is Adventure Alan, signing out.